In the previous session, we created the space model schema, and we also removed the default headers. So this is what was the home page, and we have this other live view, and we replaced this header. But one of the things that happen is if you run the test, you will get an error. So we want to try to fix that test. And we also get a really long UUID. This was by design, so if we click into here, this is the address. And I don't think anybody's going to type that, so I want to see what happens if we shorten it to a shorter string. So we can create random strings using this picker here. So enum random will pick a random code point for here. So if you kind of iterate over a range, it will produce a random string for you. So we can create a utility function for that and see if we can't use that. So yeah, let's see if we can attack the first two items here first. So here, if I run mix test, the tests were automatically generated for us by the live view generator and Phoenix itself. And here it's one failure in page controller test, and it's just expecting that when it visits the home page, sigil P is the home page, it's expecting this piece of text. And right now our home page just said, what was it? Welcome. So let's expect that we see welcome and see if this passes. And that fixes the test. All right, so we did that. Next, we have, let's visit some of the auto-generated code. So under the world's context, we have space, which this is the schema file. So here we have an ID that's binary ID, and it's auto-generate true. Foreign key type binary ID. So ID is in here implicitly defined here. And we also have a migration. And under priv repo migrations, this is what's creating the table. So instead of making a binary ID, what if we change this to a string? So this will be a string, and that should be it for the table. Then for the schema, we'll say that this is a string. Maybe auto-generate false. So I don't know what's going to happen when we do that. In the change set, it doesn't receive anything in here. So I think we're going to want to cast ID and validate that ID is required here. And so if we do that and regenerate the table using mix ecto reset, then run our test again, let's see what fails now. So now we have 13 failures. And then it's that ID can't be blank because we didn't pass in any ID. All of these tests are breaking. So let's see. Let's take a look at one test. So world's test. So there's a space fixture. And all of these tests use the space fixture. Space fixture is defined at the bottom. So we say enum into there. So This is going to require a random strings. So we can use this function. Let's copy that. And maybe we'll make a utility function somewhere. So in the back end, let's just call utils. How do you define a module? Def module dxr utils. And then we'll say random string and give us a length. Whoa, I just need this part here. So can I do this? Let's try it. So the xr utils random string, give me a length of 5. Okay, that seems to work. And we can also add the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, and lowercase. Okay. Then we can use that in our fixture. And let's see what that does for our test. Okay. Postgres expected a binary. Okay, so mix env test, and we'll do mix ecto reset. Okay, 2 failures. Okay, live view did not redirect. Okay, so let's see what the live view test does here. So we can create a space, which is using space fixture here. Saves new space. So it goes to spaces, then create a new space, and then assert that you navigated to there, and then you're going to pass in invalid attributes. Okay, so your invalid attributes, the form doesn't have an ID, which is fine. The form doesn't need to create one, but we're going to create a space with these attributes and then submit. So we need to take a look at how live view accepts the how does live view create the space. So under lib live, here's the index, and then when we're asked to apply an action to edit a space, I believe it delegates somehow to this form component. Use this form to manage spaces in your database. Okay, so the way it updates is it calls worlds change space and it has a new space, which is fine. Change space. But we have one that's going to be create space, right? Save space, update space. Okay, here it is, create space. Create space. So if we look at this, under create space, it just goes through the space change set. So we need kind of like a change set to change thing, and a different one for if you're going to create a space from scratch. So we can go into the space model, and here let's change this up. So let's say change set is, this is for updating an existing space, in which case we don't need the ID or name. And then we'll create a create change set. And this one we will require the ID, but actually we'll just make the ID. So we don't require it. Give us the name, and we'll say that these two are required. And then we'll just put a change in here. So can I do this and then use the XR utils random string, something like that. Let's see if this works. So the XR worlds space create change set. It takes a space, so the XR worlds space module, and some attributes. Okay. Oh, it's not just the module, it's the actual struct. Okay, so we got name can't be blank, blah blah blah. Okay, that's fine. Now we'll put a name on it. So name hi and description by. Okay, so it is valid, and it put an ID on it. So if we run it again, you get a different ID. Okay. And that seems to be fine. So if we go back to space live, okay, form component, well, let's modify create space to use that different change set. So we use the create change set, and then we insert it immediately. And so now let's try to run our test again, and we're okay. Okay, So in this video we managed to, well, let's test it in the, test it once. Next Venus server. And I believe we've already migrated it in the dev database. So let's head over to spaces. Okay, so new space, hello. Okay, so if we're looking at that, it is a shorter ID now. Another space. Okay, and edit. Edit still works. Delete still works. Great. Alright, so we managed to add a utility for random strings, and then now a space can be created with a random string instead of a long UUID. So in the next video we can allow typing an empty description, and I think yeah, check to see if the test still passed, and maybe make it so each change runs tests automatically, and then we still need a way to enter the space. Alright, so we'll do that in the next video.